Beginning, the bond on Virelia. The planet Virelia shimmered beneath twin suns, one golden, one pale blue. I'd come here as part of the Human-Virelian Alliance program, a desperate attempt to bridge the gap between our two species after the Heliox War. I was just an engineer, Elias Corrin, one of a few humans left willing to work off-world after the war's trauma. But on Virelia, I found something I hadn't expected. Lyrian, a Virelian woman whose kindness felt utterly alien and achingly familiar all at once. The Virelians were elegant and fierce, tall, luminous beings with silvery skin that rippled with biolight when they spoke. Their language wasn't just words, it was melody and pulse. Lyrian was my assigned cultural liaison, but we spent far more time talking than protocol required. She was curious about humanity, how we loved, how we feared, how we built homes even after losing them. I told her about Earth's oceans, our music, the feeling of rain on skin. And sometimes, when the blue sun set and left only gold light streaming through the bioglass of the colony dome, she'd fall silent, watching me the way one might watch a comet burn across a black sky. "You live short lives," she said once, her voice soft as air. "But you love as though eternity waits behind every heartbeat." I laughed then, but her words would come back to haunt me later. The unseen war. Months passed, and peace seemed possible until reports arrived of Reavers, rogue machines left over from the Heliox War, drifting into Virelian space. They consumed energy, organic or synthetic alike. They were mindless, but unstoppable. Our colony prepared for evacuation. But for Virelians, leaving was no simple matter. Their elders were bound to the core trees, ancient living sentinels that sustained their people. To abandon them was to die. Lyrian refused to leave. She was a defender's daughter, her lineage sworn to protect the core at any cost. I stayed, because leaving her behind felt unthinkable. That was when I met her mother, Sarai, the last living defender of the southern plains. Sarai was everything Lyrian wasn't: commanding, unreadable, her skin scarred with dark fractal veins that glowed when she spoke. Her gaze pierced through armor and lies alike. The first time she saw me, she tilted her head in quiet disdain. "So, the human who made my daughter forget her duty." I began, but she raised a hand, silencing me. "You did nothing wrong," she said coldly. "You simply exist. And that's enough." I didn't understand then, but the truth of her words would unravel soon enough. The evacuation and the plea. When the Reavers reached Virelia's orbit, they didn't invade like soldiers. They descended like hunger itself, a black cloud that stripped ships and towers bare. Our colony scrambled to flee. Power flickered. Shields fell. And amid that chaos, Lyrian came to me, eyes shining, voice trembling. "Elias," she said, "I need you to marry my mother." I thought I'd misheard her over the alarms. "What?" "She can protect you better than I can." Her biolight pulsed erratically, fear, desperation. "The Reavers consume energy, but they cannot touch the bonded. The Defender's vow extends to her mate. If you're joined with her, she'll have the right to shield you." I stared at her, mind spinning. "Lyrian, this can't be about protection. You're asking me to." "She's dying," Lyrian interrupted, voice breaking. "She's old, Elias. The core drains her. Once it burns out, she'll fade. But if she bonds with a human, your life spark might sustain her long enough to save the core tree. You can save us." I couldn't speak. My throat felt dry, my mind unable to reconcile what she was asking. I looked at her, at the way her hands trembled, and I realized this wasn't jealousy or confusion. This was sacrifice. "You'd give me to her," I whispered. She nodded, tears streaking her silver cheeks. "Because she deserves to live more than I deserve to love." The bonding ritual. I met Sarai that night beneath the heart of the core tree. Its roots glowed with deep, pulsing light like the veins of a planet. She stood there waiting, draped in ceremonial armor woven from living fiber. "You understand what this means?" she asked. "Not really," I admitted. "Then I'll explain. The bond of a defender and a mate is no mere union. It's energy and essence entwined. You will feel her thoughts. She will feel yours. Until death." I hesitated, not out of fear, but because Lyrian's face lingered in my mind. "She asked me to do this. Not you." Sarai's gaze softened, the first warmth I'd ever seen from her. She always had her father's heart. Reckless. Too full of hope. Without another word, she reached for me. Her fingers brushed my chest, and suddenly I felt it, the current of life itself connecting us. It wasn't passion. It wasn't even comfort. It was raw existence. My heartbeat merged with hers. My vision flashed with memories that weren't mine, wars fought in storms of plasma, children born beneath alien skies, the pain of centuries. And then silence. When I opened my eyes again, Sarai stood taller, stronger. The cracks in her skin were gone. The light of the core pulsed brighter. "It is done," she said. "You are mine to protect now, Elias Corrin." Middle, the battle for Virelia. The Reavers struck the next dawn. They fell like meteors, tearing through the atmosphere, ripping the shields apart with mechanical shrieks. I saw them, metal serpents with red eyes that burned through steel and bone alike. Sarai moved like lightning. The core tree's energy flowed through her, and through me. Every time she struck a Reaver, I felt the impact in my chest, a thundering pulse that left me breathless. She didn't just fight, she commanded the storm. Light rippled across her arms as she unleashed bolts of pure plasma, disintegrating the machines midair. But for every one she destroyed, more came. The core tree screamed, I heard it in my skull like a dying star. And then I saw Lyrian. She'd refused to flee. She was fighting beside the evacuation ships, shielding civilians with her bare hands, her light dimming with every blow. "Sarai," I shouted through the mind link. "She's out there." Sarai turned, and for the first time, I felt her fear. "She broke the vow," Sarai said. "She's draining herself. She's your daughter, and the bond makes you mine." Sarai roared, her voice echoing in my skull. "If I die now, so do you and the core with us." But I didn't care. I tore away from her, running toward the field, toward Lyrian, as fire and metal rained from the sky. The choice. I found her collapsed beside a fallen shuttle, her body flickering with faint light. She smiled weakly as I knelt. "You should have stayed with her," she whispered. "I'm right where I should be." Her hand found mine, cool and trembling. "She's linked to you now," Lyrian murmured. "Through you, she can feel what I feel. Tell her it's not her fault I was weak." "You're not weak." She smiled. "Then prove it. Save her. Save Virelia." And before I could stop her, she reached into my chest, not physically, but through the bond, and transferred her remaining life spark into me. I screamed. My vision went white. The core tree's light flared like a sun reborn. Through the link, I felt Sarai's shock, her grief, her fury, and then her strength surging anew. She unleashed it all. The core tree detonated a wave of radiant energy, consuming every Reaver in its reach. The sky burned with violet flame. The machines fell silent, their hunger finally ended.